Werewolves, the evidence. Hi everyone, I'm here with a paranormal video about werewolves. If you enjoy this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. So let's talk about werewolves, some of the evidence for werewolves. Werewolves are a very interesting subject. There's been a lot of research regarding them in the past. And of course there's the famous werewolf case from the Congo that was researched by J. Campbell and John B. Alexander and others. Then there's a couple other cases since then that have come out. We're going to be talking about all of those cases tonight, and if you haven't seen my previous videos on those subjects, I'll have links below. So let's get into this. We are gonna start off first with what I think is one of the most important points when it comes to proving that werewolves exist, and that is the fact that there are so many legends and myths about them around the world. There are many different creatures like werewolves. In Europe, we have lycanthropes. In Africa, we have the Aru, and in the Americas, we have skinwalkers. These creatures take human lives and animal characteristics. That is a very important point. Many cultures around the world have stories about these types of creatures. So why is that? Why do so many different cultures around the world have legends and myths about werewolves or werewolf-like creatures? Is it because they're all making it up? I personally don't think so. What if someone in the distant past actually had an encounter with a werewolf and then passed the story down to their family members? Their family members passed it down to theirs, and eventually it becomes part of a culture. I think that may be more likely than all of these cultures just making it up. I believe that there is some truth to every myth and legend, and if you look at the similarities between the different myths, there are some things that are the same. For example, usually they're an evil spirit that takes over a person and gives them animal characteristics such as claws, fangs, fur, etc. And usually these spirits can be passed down through bloodlines, which is how I believe werewolves came about. Maybe a person was bitten by a werewolf and now they have a bloodline of werewolves, or maybe it's genetic and they inherit it. Whatever it is, I do believe that it can be passed down through families, and that's why I believe there are so many myths and legends around the world. The second piece of evidence I have are the physical transformations of these people. Some people claim that they can turn into a wolf. Others claim that they can shapeshift into a wolf. They aren't turning into a wolf, they're just shapeshifting into a wolf. This is very intriguing because that means they would have to be controlling it and willing it. It wouldn't be something that just happens to them. And that's why I think that there is a difference between werewolves and lycanthropes. I think that lycanthropes can control when they shift and werewolves cannot. Now this isn't saying that werewolves can't control it. They absolutely can. But I think that they have less control over their transformations than lycanthropes do. Now, once again, I believe that the difference between these two is that lycanthropes are more human while werewolves are more wolf. Werewolves could possibly be the animalistic type and lycanthropes are the human type. Like lycanthropes can live among humans much easier and longer than werewolves, while werewolves would probably prefer to live in the woods and be more solitary. Like an anthropus probably wouldn't mind living in a town, but a werewolf definitely would. I'm basing this off of personal experiences with both types of creatures. Again, I've talked about these before in other videos. I'll have those linked below, so if you haven't watched them yet, I definitely recommend watching them after this one. Alright, moving on to the third piece of evidence. One thing that has always stuck out to me when it comes to werewolves is the fact that they can heal quickly. I mean, if you've ever watched Teen Wolf, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. They can heal really fast. They also have super strength and speed. Well, I've seen a few cases where werewolves have shown up at hospitals with bite marks or scratches, and they are completely healed within minutes. So how is that possible? It doesn't seem possible, but it does happen. Again, going back to the Teen Wolf series, I know it's not real, but it shows how werewolves can have super strength, speed, and healing abilities. So yeah, that's definitely another piece of evidence. The fourth piece of evidence is a little strange, but I thought I should mention it anyways. Werewolf howls have been recorded. There have been multiple recordings over the years of people hearing howls in the middle of the night and recording them. Could these be werewolves? Possibly. I mean, they sound pretty convincing. I'll have a link to one of the more famous ones below. Honestly, I think that this is pretty good evidence. I mean, there's no explaining it. You can try to explain it all you want, but at the end of the day, it's still a mystery. The voice seems to come from a creature that's more animalistic than human, more wolf than man. and that's why I think that it's a werewolf. However, that's not the only explanation. It could be a coyote, a wolf, or even a dog. However, if it's a dog, then why hasn't it been caught? I mean, dogs make a lot of noise, but they don't howl like that. They just don't. They might sound similar, but they don't sound exactly like that. So I think that it's either a coyote, wolf, or a werewolf. Once again, I'll leave the link below if you want to hear it for yourself. Now let's talk about the famous werewolf case from the Congo. This is one of the more famous ones, if not the most famous. There was a girl who lived in a village in the Congo. She went missing and her body was found mauled in the forest. She had been scratched up pretty bad and there were claw marks all over her body. Her family took her to the hospital and she was diagnosed with multiple lacerations and infected wounds. She died shortly after. Now they didn't stop there. They brought in a priest to perform an exorcism on her because they believed that it was a demon inside of her. And during the exorcism, she started to transform into a wolf. The priest had to hold her down while her bones cracked and shifted. After the exorcism, she stopped transforming and was able to speak. She told the priest that she felt a pain in her stomach, and the next thing she knew, she was in the forest. She had no memory of what happened. The priest kept her for 3 months and performed several exorcisms on her until one day she simply disappeared. She left the house and was never seen again. She did leave behind her clothes and there were no signs of struggle, so it's unknown what happened to her. Was she taken by a werewolf? Did she turn into a werewolf? Who knows? Then there's the werewolf boy from India. A young boy claimed that he was a werewolf. He said that he grew extra body hair and his nails grew long and sharp. He also said that he felt a strong urge to kill animals and eat them. He tried to harm himself to prove that he was a werewolf, but he was stopped before he could do any damage. I'm not sure if he actually was a werewolf or not, but I do believe that something was wrong with him. I don't think that he was making it up. Whatever it was, I don't know. But I do believe that he was telling the truth about what he was experiencing. Next we have the beast of. This beast supposedly killed hundreds of people in France in the mid-1700s. There were reports of a large wolf-like creature terrorizing the town and eating livestock. The locals couldn't kill it, so they turned to a man named François Antoine, who was apparently a werewolf expert. He managed to capture the beast and bring it to Paris, where it was put on display for the king. However, it later escaped and was never seen again. Supposedly the body of the beast is still buried under the Paris Opera House. Finally, we have the werewolf of New Ilana. This is a relatively new case, happening in 2011. A man from Romania claimed that he had turned into a werewolf. He had gone into the forest to hunt, but when he returned home, his wife noticed that he had blood on his clothes. When he explained what happened, she didn't believe him and called the police. They soon realized that he had killed and eaten a hiker and brought the evidence home with him. The man was then arrested and charged with murder. So what do you think? Do you believe in werewolves? Have you ever seen one? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.